All right, Bears fans, the Bears lose a heartbreaker 29-27. A lot of lack of discipline with penalties. We'll break it all down, but the Bears fought, so do you want Matt Nagy fired? Type FN if you want him fired. If you don't, you can type not yet, but despite the good fight, I still think a different coaching staff is probably best for the long term. So type FN in the chat if you want Matt Nagy fired. With that being said, let's break down this postgame show right now. Today's Chicago Bears postgame show is presented by Manscaped. For the best men's grooming products on the planet, go to manscaped.com and use promo code BEARS20. That's manscaped.com and promo code BEARS20 to get 20% off plus free shipping. I'm your host, Harrison Graham, here on Chicago Bears Now by Chat Sports, and now it is time to break down this Monday Night Football action in Week 9 of the NFL season as the Bears lose a heartbreaker, and I do mean a heartbreaker, to the Pittsburgh Steelers, 29-27. Chris Boswell knocks in a 40-yard field goal with 26 seconds left, and a heroic attempt of a 65-yard game-winning field goal by Cairo Santos falls harmlessly short, as Justin Fields' rally was just not quite enough here tonight. The Steelers won it 29-27. Lots of highlight reaction to break down on this one. But before we do, for those of you that watched the game close, grade the Bears' performance. A, B, C, D, or F. It's kind of hard, right? You lost the game, but you got to like the fight, but you don't like the lack of discipline. I hate what I saw from the officials tonight. I thought they sucked. I think you add it all up. I'll give it a C. Obviously did a lot of good things. The fight and the effort was there, and that is one thing you can consistently say under Matt Nagy is the effort is always there. Do I love him as a coach? No, but his players seem to play for him, but way too many mistakes. A guy who didn't make many, though, Justin Fields. He played his best game of his career. 17 of 29, 291 yards. The yards per completion was tremendous. One touchdown, one interception. The one pick was on a quick slant. Cam Hayward knocks it down off his face. It hits a Bears lineman, and then he picks it off. So I don't even knock that against Fields. I thought he was outstanding. I thought he was decisive. I thought he was aggressive and kept coming all night long. I think this was easily the best game he's played, especially as a passer. This is a frustrating loss. This is a sad loss because now you're 3-6 and the playoffs looking dimmer and dimmer. But you know what? Watch out the rest of the NFL. Justin Fields, he's coming. This kid continues to get better and better. The arm strength, the mobility, the accuracy, all of that on display. The decision-making has gotten better and better. He's feeling weak side pressure a lot more as well, able to evade the pocket when he needs to, made big throw after big throw in the second half to give this team a chance to win. Gave them a lead 27-26, but the defense could not get a stop as Boswell bangs in the late 40-yard field goal. Justin Fields is coming, and he's coming quick. Do you believe in Justin Fields? How can you not? Type Y for yes, type in for no. Get your votes in down in the comment section. Let me know if you believe in Justin Fields after this heartbreaking loss on Monday Night Football to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Today's show is presented like Manscaped, like we previously mentioned. Get the Lawnmower 4.0. It's the best male grooming trimmer on the market. Guys, you got to keep things cleaned up downstairs. And with the holidays here, this 20% off with promo code BEARS20 is a perfect holiday gift for your dad, your son, your brother, your husband, for you ladies watching, your significant other, or just get it for yourself, guys. Trust me, this thing has changed my life. Promo code BEARS20. Get 20% off at manscaped.com. The Lawnmower 4.0 has 4 adjustable guards. It's got a wireless charging station. It's waterproof. You can shave your balls in the shower. Manscaped's tagline is your balls will thank you. So go to Manscaped. Go check out the Lawnmower 4.0 and all of their men's grooming products. Let's look at the offense as a whole. 414 total yards, 278 passing, 136 rushing. Just 4 of 12 on third and fourth down. I think 0 fourth down attempts. So that was all third down. 2 turnovers. Again, one was the fluky slant that gets picked off. Jakeem Grant fumbled the kickoff as well. Luckily, that did not lead to any Steelers points. We focused on a couple of other players here. Darnell Mooney had 2 touchdowns, 41 yards receiving, 2 total touchdowns. The Bears worked in some Wildcat tonight, and David Montgomery handed one off to Mooney that he took to the crib for 15 yards. Mooney also had the go-ahead touchdown late in the game. I was going to say game winner, but obviously the Bears lost. He was good. Cole Kmet had a good game. Allen Robinson woke up. Even Jimmy Graham had a big catch. This offense looked good. The problem is it's got to start faster, guys. 3 points in the first half. 24 in the second half. That is tremendous. The Steelers could not stop the Bears after halftime. That's not a joke. Like, literally, they could not stop Fields and this Bears offense. You just got to start faster. You can't waste 25 minutes of the first half. Like, you got to get more than 3 points on the board on the road in a primetime game. You got to give yourself a real chance earlier in this one. If the Bears simply started a little quicker, they would have won this game. They should have won it anyway, based on how the numbers played out and how this game went, but they just didn't get it done, and that's what's frustrating because in the second half, we saw some glimpses of what this offense could be, but the inconsistencies are just incredibly frustrating. Subscribe to Chicago Bears now. We just crossed 36,000. Next milestone is 37,000. Round of applause to everybody who joined our live watch party. We got to over 2,000 live at one point. That's what a close game does. Shout out to all of you. And for you new subscribers, turn on that notification bell. YouTube.com/BearsNow. We will continue to have you guys updated. We're going to have a live show tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central on Tuesday afternoon. Going to get a quick night's sleep, and then we'll see what we talk about tomorrow. I have no idea what we'll end up doing, but we will break down the latest around this team. You look at the defense, and you're like, really? The Bears outgained the Steelers 414 to 280 and fucking lost? How do you do that? Well, only the Bears could find a way. 175 passing for Pittsburgh, 105 rushing, 8 of 19 on 3rd and 4th down, including 2 of 2 on 4th down, so the Steelers were better in the key downs. Bears had just the one takeaway. You lose the turnover battle, it's hard to win, and that was the difference tonight. Roquan Smith was a maniac. He was tremendous. 12 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a sack. He continues to be a beast. One of the best players in the NFL, especially on the defensive side of the football. But I want to talk about another area. I mentioned the yards. You're like, how do you have that much yardage difference and you lose the game? I'll tell you how. Penalties, and this is why I still think a new coaching staff is going to be necessary. You know why? Because lack of discipline is a direct indictment of a coaching staff. You want to know the difference in penalties tonight? The Bears had 12 penalties for 115 yards. The Steelers had 5 penalties for 30 yards. That tells the story right there. That tells the absolute story. Now, I will mention this as well. The referees sucked tonight, and the Bears were on the short end of that stick on a handful of plays. We'll talk about that more in a minute. If you think the refs in this Bears game sucked, boo in the chat because they were abysmal. Now, you can't have 12 penalties for over 100 yards. Robert Quinn lined up offsides a couple of times. Another Bears player lined up offsides. How do you line up offsides multiple times? That's mental. That's coaching. That's lack of discipline. You can't have it. That is absolutely brutal. Now, the officials suck. Type boo in the chat if you agree. Bears got hosed on 3 or 4 calls. They really did. A Jimmy Graham touchdown got erased on a very questionable below-the-knees block that was within the tackle box. I thought that was an awful call. Ended up having to settle for 3 at the end of the first half. If that's 14-7 instead of 14-3, that's a game changer. By the way, the 2 plays after that, Justin Fields got hit well after the play was over. Where's the makeup call? No makeup call? Okay. That seems fair. The play of the game, Cassius Marsh, who was called up from the practice squad, gets a critical sack on 3rd down. Steelers are going to have to punt when they're up 23-20, and they call taunting because he looked at the opposing bench. Literally, he stared him down, and they called it taunting. Taunting is really hurting the NFL. I can't use the word ruin because the ratings are out of the roof. People aren't stopping watching, but it's embarrassing for the league. Those 3 or 4 calls, the taunting especially, that's embarrassing. That cost the Bears 3 points because the Steelers kicked a field goal to go up 26-20. What happens if that doesn't happen? Bears probably win. That 3 points that cost the Bears and the 4 points in the Jimmy Graham touchdown, that totals up to 7. The Bears lost by 2. We got to stop letting officials cost games, folks. Now, the Bears did enough damage to themselves. It shouldn't have come down to that, but I'm tired of referees sticking their nose where it doesn't need to be, and that happened on multiple occasions tonight. Who do you blame for tonight's loss? Despite all that, I'm still not going to blame the officials. I'm blaming coaching, man. You got over 110 yards in penalties. That's on coaching, and ultimately the head coach has to take responsibility. It's frustrating because you should not waste a performance that Justin Fields had tonight and lose. It's very disappointing overall. So now you got to look forward, and heading into the bye week, you would have liked to win this game. You could have gotten some momentum, but now you got to sit on this for 2 weeks before playing the Ravens at home. That's going to be a tough one. The Lions on the road, Cardinals at home. That'll be a tough one. At the Packers in Week 14. It ain't getting easier, but you know what? Justin Fields is going to keep battling because what I saw tonight, tough as nails. He's improving. Really like what the Bears have in their young quarterback. Steelers win it 29-27 over the Chicago Bears. A just very, very tough loss overall because I really thought the Bears put up a good fight in the second half of this game. Fields outplayed Roethlisberger. The defense was better than Pittsburgh's, but the mental mistakes, the penalties, and I will include the refs, those 3 areas, that lost you the game. But 2 of those 3 you can control, and the Bears didn't do it tonight. It's just a very, very, very disappointing outcome for Chicago heading into the bye week as the Steelers win on Monday Night Football 29-27. The Matt Nagy hot seat rumors are still going to heat up. I don't think they will fire him, for those asking, because when you battle back like this and almost win, it feels weird to fire him. I would still consider it, but I don't think they will end up doing that during the bye week. Want to remind you guys to subscribe. We will be live tomorrow here on the channel, youtube.com/BearsNow, 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central Time. We will continue to hammer away the latest Bears news and rumors. Despite a 3-6 record, this team's going to keep fighting, and I'm going to keep fighting for you guys to subscribe and join us tomorrow on the channel.